Once, before they'd settled at the collective, she and Papa were at a church gathering in a small town along an abandoned railroad, deep in one of Appalachia's hundreds of valleys. Children had been playing around the adults, who stood in a tight group to discuss the weather and the morning's sermon. Caitlin had made friends with another girl who was tiny like her. They wandered among the boys who were rough and tumble and pushed Caitlin to the ground. Her new friend helped her up and patted Caitlin on the back. A question was asked, and Caitlin began to shed her coat, innocently. Papa ran toward them, shouting. He arrived soon enough to prevent other adults from seeing, but 3 of the children had already glimpsed Caitlin's mutated arms, terribly thin and long, dark with shaggy and coarsened hair. They screamed in horror, and Caitlin never made the mistake of playing with other children again. Not because Papa warned her against it, but because she finally understood she was different. She didn't like being different. It made Papa sad. When Caitlin's name was called, Papa stood and took her by the hand to a small private room where the surgeon waited. The surgeon had his back to them when they entered. He turned, holding a clipboard. He wore a mask but had pulled it down so his entire face showed. He had short brown hair and dark brown eyes. Caitlin sensed the same thing in the man as she did in Papa. She couldn't put it into words, of course, not even in her thoughts, but she understood the aura of sadness and kindness about the surgeon. Others often recoiled from her, but he knelt and put his hands on her shoulders. "Hello," he said, looking directly in her eyes. "Hello," Caitlin said. She felt safe with this man, like she did with Papa. "Papa said you might be able to fix Angel and help her fly again. I call her Angel because she is so white." She opened the box. The surgeon studied the white dove with great seriousness. He asked permission to lift the dove out of the box. Caitlin liked that. Other grown-ups would not have been that nice. "I've never seen such a beautiful bird," the surgeon said. Caitlin shook her head. "Me neither." "I'm told you are not a physician interested in politics," Papa said to the surgeon. "That is the only reason we are here. We have a little angel who needs help." "I'm from outside." The surgeon still looked into Caitlin's eyes, smiling, but still with sadness. "What happens in Appalachia is not my business." "We need to trust you," Papa said. "I can't even tell you why or how important that is." The surgeon set the dove back into Caitlin's box. He consulted his clipboard. "Jordan, right? This need is why you wouldn't let the general physician prepare the x-rays?" "Feel my daughter's back," Papa said, "between her shoulder blades." Caitlin stepped away instinctively, but Papa told her it would be all right. He helped her remove the loose coat. Caitlin stared at the floor and shivered as the surgeon's soft, gentle hands ran along her coarse skin. Why did she have to be such a burden for Papa? "Very atypical," the surgeon said. "Not only her back, but her fingers, her hands, her thin arms. I'd like to do a medical history. Maybe there is some hormone treatment to—" "She needs your help," Papa said. "A simple operation on her back. Help, not questions." The surgeon raised a questioning eyebrow. "In my other life," Papa said, "I had considerable medical background, but I'm not a surgeon." "Your other life?" "My daughter would not have been able to cope outside. That's why we are here." Caitlin wanted to pull on Papa's hand. He and the surgeon had forgotten about the box. Although Papa had taught her to be polite and not interrupt adults, she couldn't help herself and held the box toward her father. "Papa, don't we want to help her fly again?" Papa smiled and kissed her forehead. "Yes, my love. Sometimes adults talk about things that aren't interesting to a little girl. Forgive Papa." Caitlin studied the doctor's face. Papa said he could help them, and she was
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.